Joining me in studio as we continue to visit with candidates running for office, we visit with Susan Rowley, who is in studio with us. She is running for municipal court judge here in Lubbock. Susan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Chad. Thank you for having me and your listeners for listening.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you coming in today. Tell folks a little bit about yourself, your biography.
Well, I grew up in Lubbock. After my dad finished all his medical training, we moved here and we stayed here. So I went to Majan Elementary School, Hutchinson Junior High, Monterey High School, and my first job out of law school, unfortunately, you got to take whatever you can get when you get your first job. But it was in Amarillo, and I was an assistant city attorney in Amarillo, and I just loved it. I did all the municipal court stuff, and I did trials. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of trials, and it got my feet wet, and it really made me fall in love with this type of law, which is interesting. And then so I wanted to come back to Lubbock, so I got a job with Bill Souter at the DA's office. And I did misdemeanors, but I also was in charge of all 4 of the Justice of the Peace Courts, which is the same type of law as municipal. It just happens to be on the county level. So I still continued in that area of law because I loved it so much. And then I switched over to the defense side. Yes, I know. Mostly misdemeanors and the municipal court stuff, an occasional felony, but very rarely. I'm really focused on the lower level ones because I feel like I can make a difference. Even when I was a DA or a prosecutor or a defense attorney, I always took the time to make sure that they kind of got it and they understood what they were doing wrong, and so that it could help them in the future and not get in trouble again. Was that the main reason why you decided to run for this office, was to help? Absolutely. I am so passionate about this, especially when it comes to the criminal type of cases, the Class C misdemeanors. I need to let people know that these are criminal offenses that can actually harm them in the future. And it's just when I get passionate about something, I never stop. What do citizens need to know? Because this is one of the races, I think, here on the local level. A lot of people are paying attention to, if they're paying attention to the mayoral race. They're paying attention to maybe their Lubbock City Council race. Municipal court judge is not one of those races that typically gets covered a lot. So what do they need to know about the position and why they should vote for you? You know, it's really unfortunate because you think about it. How many people of our in Lubbock have to go before a district court judge for a felony, or even before a county court judge for a misdemeanor? But I bet you out there's not one person that hasn't have or doesn't know someone that hasn't have at least a ticket or a code violation or something like that. It affects everyone in Lubbock, this judge position. And I am the most conservative candidate that we have. I've been involved in Republican politics since I was probably about 6 years old, and I just love that type of law. I really want to help. You know, one thing that made me think is I was buying a lottery ticket the other day, and I said to myself, all right, Susan, if I win this $10 million lottery, are you still going to run for judge? I said, yes, I am. It's not about the money. It's about me wanting to help people. We're visiting with Susan Rowley, who is in studio with us right now, talking about her campaign for municipal court judge. What do you think separates you from others in this race? I have a lot of experience. Almost next week will be 19 years of experience in this kind of law. And the fact that I have such a passion for it, I really do. And when I get a passion for something, there's no stopping me. And I promise that I'm going to bring fairness and justice. Now, I will tell you that I believe in letting everybody know what their the dispositional alternatives, or what could happen with the tickets or with the Class C violations of the code, because there are options, especially for first-time offenders, to keep them off their record. But I'm tough when it comes to repeat offenders. I won't lie to you. So I'm not going to poo-poo a lot of these tickets away just because, you know, they are who they are, or it's just we have a mass amount of tickets.
Right. Let me ask you about something that came up, and it would, I think, impact you if you were elected. The Department of Justice about 2 weeks ago came out with recommendations, and they were really, I think, speaking to all cities out there in all municipal courts and saying, okay, don't lock up people because they can't afford a fine, or don't lock people up in jail if they can't afford to pay a fine. How often does that really come up in the municipal court system, and how would you react to that if elected?
Well, it's funny. We just recently had what's called a quote-unquote warrant roundup, and they do that sporadically. And I can't tell you how many phone calls I get from people that's scared to death because they know they're about to get arrested. And help me, help me, help me. Within the last month since the warrant roundup, I must have had hundreds of calls, swear to God. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these people, they've already got put on a payment plan, and then they fall behind on the payment plan. And if they fall too much behind, then they do get arrested. There is right now they do have some kind of community service thing implemented in the court, but I think I'd like to expand on that and but I'd really have to find out the people that really deserve it. Because there's homeless people that get tickets, and if they don't have money for a home, then certainly they're not going to have money to pay the ticket, but maybe they can help out and do something productive in Lubbock, and at least they're doing something.
Visiting with Susan Rowley in studio. She's running for municipal court judge here in Lubbock. Susan, tell our listeners where they can find out, I guess, more information about yourself. And I guess one final thing is that they need to know about you when they head to the polls here in really just a few weeks, it seems like.
Well, I have a Facebook. It's Susan Rowley for Lubbock Municipal Court Judge. So go to that Facebook and read about me and like me if you want. If you like me, if you like a conservative candidate that is going to work hard and be passionate, then I'm the one for you. And I want to just explain one last thing to the listeners. Voting for judge, it's kind of hard because you don't understand really what a judge does unless you're an attorney. But think of it this way. I'm a baseball mom. We're like the umpires. We don't play the game. We call the balls. We call the strikes. We look at the plays in the field, and we make the judgment calls. So you have to go with your heart and your gut and go with someone that you believe in that can make those judgment calls.
Susan Rowley, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.